Hey everyone, and welcome back to another eShop Deals video. Now this week we got an amazing Nintendo Direct which led to one of the biggest sales of the year on the Nintendo Switch eShop. Now hopefully most of you have already seen part 1 of the list for this week, which I posted just yesterday. If you didn't, I'll be putting the link down below in the description of the video. But which one you watch first is really not important, because overall we've got more than 50 games combined with both lists that are just some great deals for this weekend. Also, since this is the regular weekend eShop deals video, we'll be announcing today the winner of the two $5 eShop gift cards. If you're wondering how you can participate in that giveaway in future weeks, all you need to do is check out the under $5 eShop deal video that comes out midweek and drop a comment in that video. So now, with a little bit more than 25 games to look at for today, let's get started on the deals. Just don't forget that if you do like the content, to please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already. Now we're actually starting off the video today with a sponsor, because today's eShop Deals video has been sponsored by Red Deer Games, and more specifically the launch of their brand new game Haustoria that is already on sale for 35% off, dropping the price all the way down to $8.44. Now, Haustoria is a 2D puzzle platformer with some minimalistic but yet beautifully hand-drawn visuals. The gameplay here reminds me a lot of the gameplay you had in Limbo, with some light platforming elements but really centering around puzzle solving. It also has a very dark and weird aesthetic that in my case is something that I really love in a puzzle platformer. And the storyline, although minimalistic, is filled with mystery, where basically the universe has fallen under the curse of an ancient cosmic being known as the Haustoria. You have to confront its darkness while exploring the harsh, hand-drawn world. There's also a really original mechanic used here that is called the magical thumbtack that really makes you think out of the box for the puzzle solving here. Now, as a bonus, Red Deer Games is also doing a giveaway around the release of this brand new game, and I'll be posting the link down below in the description of this video. And if you use the code MSGT, it'll give you extra chances to win. So now, if we get to the first game on the official list for this week, we have Overcooked 2 that is 66% off for $8.49. Now basically both Overcooked 1 and 2 are on sale this week, but with Overcooked 2 being at a brand new price of $8.49, this is really the one I would go for right now. The first one is a little bit cheaper at $4.99, but Overcooked 2 really has kicked up the gameplay and the graphics. Just fair warning, this is a game that you really have to play with other people. I mean, you can play it alone, but all the fun here is the wacky co-op fun. And next, while we're on the theme of party games, there's another excellent one out, which is Moving Out, that is also at a brand new low of 66% off, once again $8.49. So as I just said, this is another really great co-op party game. However, this time you're trying to move things out of different locations. Some of them are really simple, like a basic house, but by the end you'll get to some crazy locations like a moving plane and even islands floating in space. Overall, if you want another out there party game, you can pick this one up this week. On top of it, there's a free downloadable demo if you want to try it out for yourself. Now next on our list, we have Rayman Legends, the definitive edition at 75% off, back to the equivalent of its lowest price ever, $9.99. Now this is a 2D action platformer that I think is often overlooked on the Switch. It has some really beautiful visuals and some really solid gameplay. The Rayman series is one of the longest running 2D platformers outside of the classics like Sonic and Mario. If you haven't tried this one yet and you're a fan of 2D platformers, do yourself a favor, either download the free downloadable demo or just pick up the game, because at $10 it is definitely worth it. Next, we have another game that is at a brand new low, with My Friend Pedro hitting 60% off, dropping the price all the way down to $7.99. My Friend Pedro is just one of the best over-the-top, crazy zany shooters on the Switch. With physics that just can't be explained, this game is just tons of fun. And on top of it, even with this action-packed gameplay, it actually has a fairly entertaining storyline to add to it. So if you haven't picked this game up yet, at its brand new low price, this game is definitely a steal. Now next, we have the Spyro Reignited Trilogy that is back to its lowest price ever of 50% off for $19.99. Now, this is basically a triple pack of ground-up remakes of the first 3 Spyro games from the PS1 era, and basically these are some of the best old-school collectathons that you can get on the Switch. I also find that at $20 for 3 games, it's an excellent pack to pick up for younger children that you want to get into gaming and you don't want to have to pay the big full price of a first-party game. Next, we have a returning series favorite with Yooka Laylee that is back to 75% off for $9.99. Now, if you ever wanted the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie, you have it right here on the Switch with Yooka Laylee. And what is great is the quality of the product here is almost equivalent to a first-party game, but when you get it at 75% off and you pay $10 for it, it's actually crazy to think that you're paying for a full 3D action-adventure platformer and you're only paying $10 for this quality of a product. Now next, we have all the Crash Bandicoot games that are currently on sale. You can pick them up either all individually, they're all at great prices, or if you have none of them and you want to get them in one fell swoop, you have the Crashiversary bundle right here on the screen that is 40% off for $60 for all the games. I'll be talking about the Crashiversary bundle, but as I said, remember all these games are available separately if you already own some. Basically, in this pack, you're getting the Crash Insane Trilogy, which are ground-up remakes of the first 3 Crash Bandicoot games, and that are just great games on their own. After that, you get the awesome Crash Bandicoot 4, which was the game that came out just this year and is really a great new entry in the Crash series. And lastly, you get CTR, which is the Crash racing game that ultimately, if you are into games like Mario Kart, is a lot more difficult than that game, but is my personal favorite kart racer currently on the Switch. Now next, we have an amazing game that is back on sale with Ori and the Will of the Wisps at 35% off for $19.49. Now this is one of, if not actually the best Metroidvania currently on the Switch. And in Ori and the Will of the Wisps, it takes everything that was great from the first game and pushes it to a new level, with even bigger boss fights, and this one time with a more active combat mechanic. In the first Ori game, the combat was sort of passive. In this one, it is a very active system. So ultimately, if you want one of the best Metroidvania experiences on the Switch, anytime it's on sale for any amount, it's worth picking up Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Now next, we have another game that is equivalent to its lowest price ever, with Northguard being back to 60% off for $13.99. Now RTSs is a type of game that we don't have a ton of on the Switch, but Northguard is a very good one that we do have. So when it's on sale, it's a great time to delve in and pick it up. You basically play as a clan of Vikings that is trying to take over control. And basically on top of it, the storyline is actually pretty engaging here. And at $14, you are getting a full-fledged, really nicely fleshed out RTS. Now next, we've got both the Metro games this week that are 65% off, back to their lowest price ever of $8.74. Now both these games are really solid FPS games to begin with, but on top of it, they have a really dark undertone storyline and even borders, I would say, on slight moments of horror. Now, if you are into FPS games, if you are into dark storylines, definitely take a look at the Metro series at $8.74. It's actually crazy that we can pay this low for 2 really great games. So now it's time to take a quick break and announce this week's winners of the $5 eShop gift card. Now, our first winner is going to be Nova Falco that said Figment is a must. And our second winner is going to be Nintendite, who said, those deals look awesome, there goes my wallet. Now ultimately, I agree with both statements. Figment is a must, and yes, the deals this week were pretty good once again. Now all you need to do to claim your $5 eShop gift card is reach out to me in my pinned comment in this video down below, and I'll give you a few instructions on how you can claim your card. Now next, we have 2 Saints Row games that are currently on sale at the same price, with the third and fourth one at 65% off for only $13.99. Now if you like over-the-top 3D action games with an open sandbox environment, the Saints Row series is one of the best you can pick up. And even the fourth one is my personal favorite, where everything goes off the wall with even superpowers and aliens. So ultimately, if you want over-the-top action, Saints Row is a definite stop for this week, and at $13.99, this is pretty equivalent with the lowest prices they've ever been. Now next, we have another complete series that is on sale, with all the Mega Man games this week being on sale. Now most of them are 50% off, ranging between $10 and $15. The only exception to that is the Mega Man Zero collection that is $19.79, because that one is 34% off. Now, obviously, we're not going to go through all these collections individually because they have a lot in common. But if you were waiting to pick up these collections, honestly, Capcom never drops them really below the 50% mark. So this is pretty much equivalent to the best time to be picking them up. If you're new to the Mega Man series and you want to try it out, I would definitely say that the best places to start are either the first part of the Mega Man X collection or the first part of the original Mega Man collection. Just be forewarned, however, if you start with the original Mega Man collection, some of the games will feel dated, especially the first one. However, all the rest, the series really kicks up starting at the second one. Now, the next stop on our list is a game that I never thought would be lower than it already was, but yes, we have Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate at 65% off, a brand new low of only $20.99. Now basically, if you ever wanted to jump into Mortal Kombat on the Switch, this is the perfect pack to pick up. Because not only do you get the full game, you get all the DLC and additional characters included in one fell swoop for only $21. And honestly, even though visually this is maybe not the best version of Mortal Kombat 11, once again, having it in a portable format definitely made me pick it up a second time on the Switch. Now, our next game is probably the funniest game of this week, which is Sega Genesis Classics Collection that is 50% off for $14.99. Now, the reason I'm saying this is the funniest game for this week is that if you saw the Nintendo Direct, they are adding Sega Genesis games to the Nintendo Switch Online service, but almost all the games they're adding are in this collection. So I do think there is a slight risk that this will be delisted by the end of October just to not sell the same games as they're offering for free on their service. So if you were waiting around to pick up 50 of the best Sega Genesis games all in one collection, I wouldn't wait too long and definitely pick it up now at 50% off. Now next, we have one of the games that is maybe not at its lowest price ever, but it definitely deserves a mention nonetheless, the Shovel Knight Treasure Trove collection that is currently 25% off for $29.99. Now if you want a chance to play what in my opinion is pretty much the best retro-inspired 2D platformer that is out there right now, the Shovel Knight series is pretty much it. And the reason I'm mentioning this game, even though it's not at its lowest price ever, is that this collection very rarely goes on sale because it sells very well at its full price of $40. So when you can get any type of discount on it, it is definitely worth picking up. And right now at $29.99, you are definitely getting your money's worth with the Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. Now next on the list, we've got yet again a game hitting its lowest ever price with Grindstone at 30% off for $13.99. Now, when I first saw this game in a Nintendo Direct, I thought it looked heavily like a mobile game. But don't be fooled, this is actually one of the best puzzle games we have on the Switch. And yet again, there's a little storyline here that actually gets you pretty involved in the gameplay. It's also extremely addictive. So if you want a really long-term puzzle game, definitely give Grindstone a try. Don't be fooled by its almost mobile-like visuals. It is a really solid puzzle game. Now the next game on our list is back to its lowest price ever with the Double Dragon Kunio-kun Retro Brawler Bundle at 74% off for $10. And this game will be my pick of the week. Now just a quick warning that even though this game is my pick of the week, it is a retro bundle and some of the games will feel slightly dated, but overall you're getting 18 old school brawler type titles for only $10. And this is a bundle that often goes on sale, but for 50% off. So when you can pick it up like today for only $10, it is an instant buy in my book. On top of it, Limited Run Games is doing a physical edition that I have pre-ordered. I just love this bundle so much. Now our next game on the list is back to its lowest price ever as well, with Blue Fire being 40% off this week for $11.99. Now this is a game that I actually fully reviewed on the channel, and I just fell in love with this here. It's an incredibly difficult 3D action platformer that melds Hollow Knight-like visuals with Souls-like combat and extremely difficult platforming. The only thing here, if you don't dive into the side story platforming challenges, the main storyline isn't all that long. The good news, however, is we should be getting DLC for this game very shortly, announced by the developer already, which has really re-stoked my fire and made me want to dive in a second time. Now it's pretty insane because we're going to end this week's list with two of the best retro brawlers available currently on the Switch, and the first one is the Ninja Saviors, The Return of the Warriors, that is back to 50% off for $9.99. Now this is an arcade-style 2D retro brawler, but this is not your standard brawler because you can only move from right to left. There is no third dimension here where you can move through the stages, so all it is wiping out wave after wave of enemy. Sounds simple enough, but the gameplay here gets really deep and tons of fun and non-stop action, which is the most important thing in a retro brawler. Now, if you want to experience one of the best ones on the Switch, don't let this one go by. Pick up the Ninja Saviors at $10. This game is an amazing pickup. Now, last but definitely not least for this week on our list, we have that other retro brawler, which is Fight and Rage, back to 50% off for $9.99. Now here we have a 2D retro beat 'em up yet again, but this one is probably the best one you can currently get on the Switch. If not, it is definitely, as I said earlier, among the top 3, with great pixel art graphics, over-the-top action, and probably one of the games with the most enemies I've ever seen on screen at the same time, and some really insane combos. Overall, if you just like over-the-top beat-em-up action, definitely pick up Fight and Rage at $9.99. Once again, it is a total steal. So that was it for part 2 of this week's eShop deals list. Let me know down below in the comments what you all thought and what games you are going to be picking up for this week. Also, I want to thank the channel supporters for contributing to the channel in a huge way. If you want more information on that, it's down below in the description of the video. I also want to give one last shout out to this week's sponsor, which is Red Deer Games and Haustoria, and don't forget all of you to participate in the giveaway down below. And on the way out, if you did like the content, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and hit that notification bell so you know when all future content comes out. And as usual, I hope I'll see you in my next video.